Hi, it's Cory, and today you're gonna learn 10 facts about the ukulele. Fact number 1, while it's completely okay to call it ukulele, the traditional pronunciation and the more I'd say correct pronunciation is ukulele. Whether you choose ukulele or ukulele, it's totally up to you. I've heard both, and I've been told by professional players as well as like other educators and stuff that it's kind of either or, so you make the decision. I know I normally say ukulele just because people that are beginners often don't know what I'm talking about if I say ukulele. But again, both are okay, and I think the important thing is that you're playing. 2. Ukulele or ukulele translates roughly to jumping flea, and while nobody exactly knows where this name comes from, they thought that it looked like little fleas were jumping from string to string based on the style in which people were playing when they were doing finger picking style. So it looked like it was so fast that a little flea was jumping around. Number 3, while the ukulele is accredited to Hawaiian culture and the modern day ukulele certainly got its roots in Hawaii, traditionally though, the instrument was brought to the islands of Hawaii by Portuguese instruments in the 1800s, and from there it became what we know the ukulele to be today. And even though the instrument isn't originally from Hawaii, the instrument has become very rooted in Hawaiian culture, and what we kind of know about the various melodies that are played and even the standard tuning and everything was all developed in Hawaii. Number 4, the modern day ukulele is actually a combination of 2 different Portuguese instruments. There's one called the machete, in which the ukulele got its basic shape modeled after, and then the other one is the cajo, apologies for my pronunciation, where it got the tuning from, which is a 5-string instrument, but they dropped the first string of it and took the tuning from the other 4 strings. Number 5. The instrument was not actually created by musicians right at the start. It's accredited to be created by 3 men, Manuel Nunes, Jose do Espírito Santo, and Augusto Diaz. And these were Portuguese immigrants that were actually cabinet makers and guitar makers. Number 6. The 3 gentlemen that created the ukulele, while they were those cabinet makers and guitar makers, they found that actually their business was doing better when selling the instrument. So they went about trying to figure out how they could sell as many of the instruments and make it the most accessible to people. And that's kind of how the birth of the ukulele came to be. They found that the smaller body and the easier tuning made it really portable for people to be able to pick up and play, but also really easy for people to start learning. Additionally, they found that it didn't really cost that much to make the instrument, so there wasn't as much upfront cost and you could get more instruments into the hands of the people. Number 7, the ukulele wasn't actually always very popular. In fact, it's kind of had lulls in its history. It was met with a lot of success when it first came out in the late 1800s and then even into the early 1900s. And then the popularity kind of sank a little bit. It hit a revival time in the 1920s where actually it became very popular for jazz. A lot of jazz musicians found it very portable, and it was really easy for them just to pick up and go to whatever gig that they needed to. It also got popularity later on too because the Beatles were huge fans. George Harrison actually was a huge fan of the ukulele, and he was known to have hundreds of them, and he was a big fan because of its happy sound, but you could also pick it up and play and bring it along with him, whereas a guitar sometimes was a little bit more limited. Number 8, the ukulele is typically tuned G, C, E, A, going from the 4th string to the 1st string. What most people don't know though is that G string, you can actually have it be the G that's most commonly associated with the ukulele, or you can actually drop it down the octave to get a low G. Now when you use the low G for the ukulele, it makes it have a nice fuller sound, but it does take away from the classic bright sound of the ukulele. It's really what you prefer though. You don't have to change anything about the chords you play or anything because it is that same note, it's just the difference of the octave. A lot of times when people tend to use a low G, they're going to add it to either a concert or a tenor ukulele, but even amongst the 2 of those, tenor is most popular. Number 9, there are tons of different shapes and sizes of the ukulele. I have a video talking all about the most standard ukulele sizes of soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone, but also there are bass ukuleles, banjoleles, there are ukuleles with resonors, all kinds, or even too with just different body shapes, where you might see them more of the standard size where it kind of looks like a figure 8 or a circle or an oval or a triangle. There's lots and lots of different sizes, and they all kind of give you a different sound. Typically though, the smaller the body of the ukulele, the brighter the sound is going to sound to the ear, and the larger the body, the more full and warmer the sound is going to be. And number 10, and this is probably our grossest little fact, and it's not actually a secret at all, that the strings traditionally made on ukulele used to be made from cat and sheep gut. And while that might seem a little bit gross at first, it's actually not so uncommon for string instruments in general. And even people still do that today. Most ukuleles nowadays are made with nylon strings, or if you're using a baritone, sometimes the 2 bottom strings are made out of metal. Typically you don't really see the actual gut strings anymore, but on a lot of other string instruments you will still see strings made out of guts. So those are 10 ukulele facts. If you yourself are interested in learning a little bit more about ukulele, I do have a book recommendation for you. This is The Ukulele: A History. This is one of the most comprehensive books about the history of ukulele that I've been able to find to date, and it's really, really interesting. And the instrument, a lot of times people think is kind of like a toy, but it really has such a rich cultural heritage, but also it's left a huge impact on the music world as well. So if you're at all interested in picking this up, I'll have it linked down below so you can check it out for yourself. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to give this a big like. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Also, if you're at all interested in getting access to a lot more resources like my lead sheets or my workbooks on this channel, make sure to check out my Patreon too, where it's a great community growing of people just like you that are trying to improve their ukulele skills and also help support the channel so I can keep making videos like this one. So if you'd like to check that out, the link is down in the description. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!